Sharif. So much better. So much better. On my knees. Hands. It's a little cold out there. A little cool out. Today it's raining. Low today of 46, high of 48. So there you go. Tomorrow's going to be, it's a 100% chance of rain today. Well, good. It's a good thing I mowed the lawn yesterday. I'm waiting for someone to show up today, so I might have to stop in the middle of the show. So bear with me, please. Well, it's been one of those days, man. I mean, it's just one of those where it's like, I'll get into it here in the show. I got to print this thing out. I forgot to. That's what I was saying. I was looking around for where's my paper? I didn't print it out yet. Dummy. You big dummy. All right, here we go.
Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This Is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
Hello. How are you? I know we're a little late getting to the show today, but I've been a little occupied. I have now got a part-time job. Oh, yeah, a part-time job. I am now the chauffeur for my dad, I guess, for the most part. He physically cannot get up and down steps. He physically cannot get around without a cane or a walker. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen here. He cannot put any weight on his right side, his right foot, right leg, right appendage that he's got going on, and let alone drive a car, to get out of the car. I can just see, there's you've seen the videos time and time again of old people, trying to get out of the car. The car's still in drive, and, they're looking for leverage to push their bony asses out of the seats of their car, and they step on the gas. And what happens? Right through the convenience store, right through wherever they pulled up to go shopping, or whatever they're doing. And so I'm like, no way. There's no way. I'm available, Dad. I'm available. I will sit there and drive you around. But you have to understand, I have obligations as well. So I've been driving him around. This is the start of a full second week. And when I say drive him around, he normally does his grocery shopping by himself. He runs up to Food Lion, and then he goes into, gets the wheelie cart, the old people creeper cart, the basket in the front, and he'll drive around, and he'll only buy, and this is the genius of grocery stores and stuff. They know that old people that are sitting in those chairs, they'll only put the expensive stuff right there, eye level, right there in their grasp. I'm not going to that one's $3 cheaper, but this one's right here. I'm just going to go ahead and get the cheaper one and just be done with it. Hold on. I thought the vibration on this phone would be a good idea, but no. I can physically see it, but I don't want to feel it. But he cannot drive. And driving to the store and then him getting out and then get him finding one of those, he can't move. He cannot physically move without his walker with the wheelie thing on it. So now I'm the chauffeur. And he's like, I feel bad, putting you out and doing, well, he doesn't speak that way. He's like, I feel bad putting you out and Dad, I don't mind doing it as long as it fits in my schedule. And I know that feels or sounds shallow. It sounds, self-absorbed, well, do it yourself, or help your dad out. No, I can't. I'm sorry. It's not that I can't. It's he's kind of put himself in this position. And I hate to say that, but he's put himself in this position. I will help him achieve what he needs to do during the time that he is here. I spoke to Shane. You guys remember Shane. And he was telling me that, because he's on Medicaid and Medicare and all that stuff, he has an opportunity to have a nurse come in and help him with simple stuff. I don't know what she would help him with. She's not going to cook in my kitchen. So I've been playing chauffeur. And the worst part about doing this, granted, I had the luxury of working out of the house, working out of, this location, my dad living with us, in the same building, in the same facility and stuff. We can keep an eye on him. The issue, the luxury I have is I can, stop and do everything any given time, but it's got to fit in my schedule. I don't know where I was going with that, but a lot of people out there don't have the luxury. And, when you turn 50 and your parents are still around, you think your parents are going to last forever, and they don't. Especially if your parents are not taking care of themselves and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. He told me today, I got them all set up, ordering the Wal-Mart stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to dive into that or not. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of rambling. I know I get it a lot of rambling. I don't really have a plan where the show's going to go. I've got a list of topics I want to talk about, but I never know where the show's going to go. As the show will evolve. Each show will evolve during me talking and stuff. Am I a happy guy right now? I wouldn't say I'm not a happy guy. I just feel that, my wife and I don't need to we don't need to babysit. And for the most part, she's letting me do it, which is great. She kind of, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. I'm like going, nope. He's a grown man, just like me. He can figure this out on his own. Now, I'm not going to wipe his ass. I'm not going to sit there and spoon feed him. I will help him get up and achieve the goals that he needs to do for that day. That's my job right now. If it gets any more than that, I'm sorry to say, we will have to bring in a nurse. We will have to do something so he can achieve those goals, because I don't want to. I've seen people where they live and die by their parents serving them, and then, feeding him and doing all this stuff, and they're just completely exhausted. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that at my age right now. We're getting ready to go to the Keys here in the next couple weeks. I have to plan for that. And I also have to plan to make sure that he's not falling on the floor while we're gone. In a couple more months after that, we're planning on going up to Alaska on a cruise. I don't know where it's going to sail out of, but we want to go up to Alaska on a cruise. Hopefully we won't get where's the people on the I'm the captain now. Hopefully that won't happen. Pirates, that's what I was looking for. And then we'll have to get someone to watch them during that time. My wife was like, "Oh, I'll have the neighbors come on over and look at them." No. What are they going to do? Come and check on him, make sure he's not dead on the floor or laying on the floor in his own piss and shit. So there's a lot of things when you bring your elder adult into your house and stuff. There are certain things that you're like going, well, all right, this is going to be new. How do we make this fit into our lifestyle? So that's where I'm at right now. It's different. This week and next week, as you can see, I'm stumbling all over the place because I don't know how to, I don't know how I feel about it right now. Because right now everything's fine. It's the first date. It's a brand new relationship as far as the things that I need to get done here on the property and stuff, and the things that he needs to get done. And he always says I feel bad putting a burden on you. And I said, Dad, you're not, as long as it fits into my time schedule. I hate to say that, I hate to be that guy, that person, but you're the only one that knows the boundaries of your capabilities. That's all. So that's where we're going to start the show. I know it gets darker and darker every time, but I'll tell you what, there's a couple shows that I've been watching here that I'm excited about. And I was kind of sitting there watching them and I'm like going, well, how come this isn't happening all the time? And I'll dive into that when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back. Sometimes I always sit there and go, you're always looking for like $1 million idea. And I'm thinking, people that wash their cars, I've never been one to go out there and like detail my car or do anything like that. It's always one of those, I know, big money bags over here. It's been always one of those things where I'll drop it off and have a dealership or someone detail it. I will go through a dealership, believe it or not, rather than a personal person. Personal persons, hey, my cousin Tommy can detail your car. Oh, really? And then cousin Tommy does a shitty ass job. And then you got to say, hey, cousin Tommy, I know my friend Jacob here recommended you, but you suck. This is wrong. This is wrong. There's like a familiarity as far as, do you have to tell the person that they're bad or tell the person that they're good? I know some of my friends in high school have grown up and gotten into the auto detail thing and have done okay. And there's a couple people that have done really, really well. They've kept up with the times and started their business and they're, doing the ceramic coating and all that stuff. And I've washed my car, maybe in a year's time, I'll wash my car maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And then I usually bring it in to have it detailed and stuff. But, it's a commitment to sit there and detail your whole entire car. You're talking about getting the soap bucket out and get the, the brush, get all the interior cleaner and the exterior cleaner and all that. If it's a nice sunny day out, yes. I have found out that more people that don't own a house, like they're renters, will wash their car a lot more than people who own their house because they need something to do. The renters need something to do. They're not going to improve on their house. They're not going to improve on their property or anything like that. They're going to sit there and go, this is the only property that I own. This car that you're looking at right now, this is my life. And a lot of times those people are of a certain breed of people. And I hate to, say that, but I mean, there's a certain breed of people that rent houses and then they have really nice cars. You know what I mean? Don't be shy. Don't be coy. I know. But they will sit there and detail the cars and spend all the money on the cars and stuff because that's what they are into. They were like going, I'm not going to live in one place at any given time, or I don't want to have to this or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. It's a community thing. It's a race thing. Is it an age thing? The older I get, the less I want to wash my car. When you're younger, I guess if you own a car, you want to wash it and stuff. I remember when I had my first car, the first car that I had was a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle. And it had been painted and stuff, so it was all detailed out and everything was good. And I would wash that car every week. And I would wax the car every week until this older gentleman was walking down the street and he said, you wax that car every week. Now you're going to wax the paint right off of it. Didn't even dawn on me. Had no idea. That's what the wax does. It kind of peels back the onion layers and stuff and gives you a nice, bright, shiny finish. So I stopped doing that. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm doing the wrong thing. But I've always wondered if there was a way that people that have a garage, hear me out here, if there's a way for people that have a garage, people get swimming pools installed all the time. People get outside showers installed all the time. I know you can see where I'm going with this. If there was some way that just at the opening of your garage, if you could drive through it slow enough, and you have high pressure nozzles and stuff, I in my mind, I'm picturing like, PVC piping with holes cut in it with power jets on it. And as you're driving into the garage, just like a normal car wash, just that opening of your garage, if you drive slow enough, it would beat off the road dust and the road film and dirt and anything that you got going on. And then your car goes all the way into the garage. Now there's a drain in the floor. That's the thing. You got to put some kind of drain in the floor, like a funeral home, where everything drains into the floor and then out into the sewer or wherever you have it. And then once you get out of the car and you close it, there are just not fans, but fan type things. I haven't figured that out yet, that kind of blow dry your car. And you go, you get out the next morning and you got a brand new shiny car and you back out of the garage. You can even back out of the garage and reverse wash your car. Just again, and then you hit the highway and the air drives your car home. I just think, why hasn't that been done? There are people out there with money. There are people out there with money, enough money. Now, you're not going to get like the NBA players doing that. No, they'll just drop the car off and have someone come over and do it. They'll pay someone to come over and detail it. But there's a certain level of income where you got a little bit of extra money where you're like going, for $2,000, I would rather have a clean car every day when I get out of this, out of my garage. Why can't someone create that for that level of income, or, someone who makes that kind of money? I'm not talking like, again, not NBA money, but there's a level in there somewhere. There's a niche there where, yes, I want my car to look clean and stuff every time I take it out. This is the solution. I don't know what the solution is, or, who that group is. I have to dive into a little bit more. So it's just one of those, it's $1 million idea. It's, as far as execution, I don't know what's there, but I just thought that would be a great idea. As far as it's too late now. I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm giving it to you guys. If you guys want to try, the only thing I ask anyone who, this is audio trademark, by the way, anyone who has come up with this or does do this idea, first of all, you need a catchy name. Your Wash. Instead of car wash, it'd be Your Wash. How about that? Your Wash, or something of, verse of that. And then the only thing I do want, I've asked this all the time, anytime I come up with an idea on whatever podcast I'm working on, I just want 10%. 10% of, at the end of, no taxes, no nothing. I don't want taxes or anything taken out of it. Whatever it is, I want 10%. So if you make $1 million, I want 10% of that tax-free in my pocket, and I will just keep smiling, saying, you're welcome. You're welcome. Keep and enjoy your millions or whatever you make up. So I just thought that was an idea that in my mind. Now, I have a scene in my head. Anytime I leave this studio, or anytime that I leave a building or somewhere where I'm working. Let's say, for example, I got a business meeting or whatever that, the big wigs want to talk to me about the podcast or whatever I got going on. And you get the hustle and bustle of the actual interior inside the four walls, the hustle and bustle. And sometimes you're like, well, hold on a sec. Let me run out to my car. You walk out the exit door or whatever. You push the door open. The door closes. All that commotion and chaos is trapped in those four walls. And now you're outside and it's nice and sunny and it's calm. You wait for the car to pass in front of you so you can go out to your car. You get something out of your car and you're walking. You look both ways before you cross, whatever, thoroughfare or wherever your car is parked. And as soon as you open that front door to go back in those four walls where all the chaos and everything is, boom. And then it starts back up again. It's this confusion, chaos, or, people, ideas throwing around and stuff like that. But that moment when you leave that front door and you go out to your car to get something, it's very, very peaceful. It's just you, your mind, the outside world, if it's a nice day. And then you get what you got to do, and you're like going, all right, and you gather in your thoughts, and you walk back, and you go inside that door, and chaos ensues. And here in the studio, there's a lot of stuff that happens to make this podcast possible. And there's a lot of this, the phone's going here, I've got messages coming in, I've got to make sure the camera's going. It's all this stuff. And it seems simple to some people, but here, in this state right here, if you're watching me on the YouTube channel here, in this state right here, it's the only way I can describe it is, you ever seen when they pull the lottery balls and how the ping pong balls are bouncing around? I'm just waiting for that one to come up and go, shook, talk about the garage door thing. Shook, tell them about, you're a chauffeur now. Shook, and you're waiting for all these ping pong balls. But if I have to go downstairs and grab a beer or something, that all stays up here. And the only way I can describe that feeling theatrically is the scene where Michael Madsen is in Reservoir Dogs. There's a scene in Reservoir Dogs where he's got and I'm not giving this away. The movie's been out for 30 years. If you haven't seen it, catch up with the times, people. It's a great movie. It's one of Quentin Tarantino's first movies that he has out there. There are some similarities between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, where I did my college thesis on, but that's no here or there. But there's a scene where Michael Madsen, all the chaos is happening in this warehouse, and this warehouse is made for, they make coffins there. So he's got the cop tied up to the chair, and he's like, hold on one second. He goes out, opens the door. No music's playing. I was a film and theater major, by the way. No music playing. It's nice and soft. You don't hear anything other than the rustle of the breeze, the bird chirping in the background. He goes out, gets something out of his trunk, closes the trunk, looks both ways, walks back up to the warehouse that's abandoned. As soon as he opens up the door, the music starts kicking in again, just exactly where he left off, and then walks back and does his deed to this cop, and the movie unfolds from there. So every time I do that, when I leave a building and I'm in that same situation, I sit there and I take a few moments to myself and I look around and I go, this is what it must feel like when you've got someone inside or a hostage inside, and you're just taking a few minutes to just collect your thoughts. Not that I'm holding people hostage or anything crazy like that, but it's just that feeling where you're like going, God, that's so much chaos in there. I can open this door, walk right out and go, I got to get this. Everything's going to be good. Collect your thoughts, go back in the building, and then handle fucking business. That's the scene that I always picture in my mind when I walk out this room or walk out anything like that. I don't know what sticks in your head when you have that. I'd say I'd love to hear from you, but this is a podcast, so you have no way of getting a hold of me other than if you want to like us over on Facebook. I try to make the podcast not very commercial. I try not to advertise, try not to push any social medias and stuff, but you can follow us on Facebook as well. We'd appreciate you over there. And looking forward to 10 years coming up here in the next week and a half. And if you want to be part of that, we have a Facebook page. Just exactly what the show is. You can find us. All right, guys. I'm going to talk about this new show that I've been watching and a letter that I got from a coworker of mine who's kind of an idiot, but his words, he's very talented as far as getting a thought on paper. Not like me speaking here. So I can't get a full strain of thought together. So stick around. I'll be right back. So the This Is 50 show podcast, available on demand. We have, we started March 10th, I believe, of last year. So we're coming up on 1 year. And if you guys listen to the past podcasts and stuff, we had a gentleman by the name of Shane McManus who was on the show for a while. Life really, really hit him hard in the last couple months. Bear with me. He just walked up. I did my Michael Madsen walk. And I talked to him yesterday. He had to step away. It was too much for his schedule as far as what he was doing. Now, he's got his father-in-law with stage 4 cancer, so he's back and forth with appointments with him. And then his daughter, who is basically, I don't want to say terminal, but she can't move. She had a stroke, so there's no mobility there. So he's got to stay and deal with her. So he's like, the appointments and all that and dealing with nurses and stuff. He had to step away. He's doing good. He's still in the same situation. Everything's the same. And I kind of reached out to him yesterday, make sure that he was all right. And his brain's screwed on tight. But, and I was telling him, I'm like, hey, look, I'm kind of in the same boat that you are now. I'm in the same boat. I'm the chauffeur. I'm the guy that's taking everyone around and making sure that the appointments are done and the pills are being picked up. And my prime example, my dad was like, well, they said my pills will be ready tomorrow, just in general during the week. I don't know what day it was. And I said, okay, well, do you want to go up there? Do I need to show my ID? I think you do, because it's an opioid. I said, all right. And I was like, shit, my wife's got my wallet in her car, because we drove it around that weekend. I said, Dad, you're going to have to go with me. And you're going to have to get in the little red truck, because I've got recycle stuff I got to dump. So I'm trying to work him into my lifestyle rather than my lifestyle working myself into my dad's lifestyle. That's what I don't want to happen. I still want to live my life. I still want to do my stuff. So Shane's doing all right. Today, my dad had an appointment to have a PET scan. Back to what I was saying about the show. So the show, the This Is 50 show, before I dive into my dad's PET scan, I'm only doing this for those that want to listen. I'm not doing this to impress anyone. I told Shane the same thing. Hey, look, we're doing the show for me and you. It's an outlet. It's a way for us to sit there and go, hopefully whatever happens to us and whatever our views and opinions of what's going on will help someone else with whatever they're going through. So that's the whole idea behind This Is 50. It's not, like I said, it's not a commercial outlet. It's just a helping platform for those people that are over 50 that just don't know what to do or where to turn. I'm not going to give you any kind of medical advice. I'm not going to give you any kind of, health advice. Well, I'll tell you my health advice. I got a doctor's appointment coming up next week. Well, that should be an interesting show after that. So make sure you stick around for that. And that'll be our 10-year show, by the way, or our 1-year show. So that should be interesting. So stick around for that. And then, so that's it. I'm not doing the show. We weren't doing the show to impress anyone. We just want everyone to know that there are people out there that are going through the same, not monotonous stuff, but where your lifestyle is a certain way and all of a sudden it takes a right-hand turn. And there's other things that go along with that right-hand turn. There's side streets and stuff that you want to take. And this is the whole reason behind This Is 50 show. So now that I have that out of the way and you understand the concept of this show, if you haven't already, we appreciate you, by the way. My dad had to have a PET scan. Now, with a PET scan, the doctor did a regular MRI scan or something. They found nodules on my dad's lungs. He smoked for God knows how many years, quit, and then, started and then quit again. So this is just, he's 77. And this is just a result of years and years of smoking. I'm surprised that the nodules that they found were about the size of a green pea. And they weren't any larger than that. So that's a good thing. But they were worried about one nodule that was about the size of a black-eyed pea. I know. people in the over in California are like, what the hell is a black eyed pea? About the size of a lima bean. Let's do it that way. And so he had to go with a PET scan a day. If you've ever had a PET scan before, it's exactly the same as an MRI, but they put a radioactive fluid through your system. And you've got to wait an hour and a half for this radioactive fluid to go through your system. So I said, all right, Dad, well, I have to go grocery shopping like I do every Friday for the house. We're in 22 some odd acres here. We're out in the middle of nowhere in Marshville, North Carolina. So I have to drive into town every Friday to get groceries for the house and make meals and stuff. And so my dad, who normally gets on the little scooter and goes to Food Line, cannot go grocery shopping anymore. I said, Dad, go on Walmart.com, pick out all the stuff that you want for your groceries, pay for it, and then while I'm grocery shopping, I'll pick them up while I'm there. When I'm done, I'll drive around on the side. If you've ever done Walmart shopping pickup, it's great. Great feature. Thank you, Walmart, for keeping my dad alive and hundreds and thousands of other people out there alive. So he's like, but I have an appointment in the morning. Okay, well, I drop my dad off for the PET scan at 9:30 in the morning. Drive down to Walmart, about 15 minutes away. Start my shopping spree. I shop and buy all the stuff that I need for the house. I saw some cute shirts for my wife to wear around the house. I bought a couple things for me. We did our normal meals for the weeks. And then load up everything. And the nurse, before I left my dad, said it's going to take about 2 hours. I'm like, great, perfect. That'll align perfectly with my itinerary as far as, having to wait on my dad or hand and foot, wait on my dad. So I get in the car and I pull around to the pickup center. Call the number because I didn't check in. Call the number on the little placard there and they say, what's your name? And I said, Holmes, first name, gave him my dad's first name. Someone comes out and goes, and it's raining. I'm rolled on my window. It's pouring down rain. And the girl's in her jacket and stuff. She's like, I'm sorry, what's the name again? She's typing it in. All right, I'll be right back. She goes in. This happens 5 or 6 times over the length of like 20, 25 minutes. She cannot find anything. I have to get off this right here. She cannot find anything with my dad's name, my name, phone number, email address, nothing. So I assume the worst has happened. My dad has placed an order for something that's not in our town. I'm going to have to drive 2 towns over to get this stupid order from another Walmart. I said, is there any way? And as soon as I said any way, the girl goes, no, we have no idea how to, we're not connected that way. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I got all my groceries in the back of his little 3-cylinder banger, the Ford EcoSport, because I'm driving that around. And, I'm 260. My dad's 240. And so you got 500 pounds of men driving this thing that we could basically stick in our back pocket. So drive up, wait in the parking lot for my dad. My dad, I'm waiting maybe 25 minutes. Fine. It's within my range of patience and losing it. So he's like, I'm done. I'm like, okay, I'll pick you up where I dropped you off. So I pull around and he goes, well, how did it go? I said, most importantly, Dad, how did it go with you? Because he's so worried. He's so worried that he's putting me out. He's worried that he's a nuisance to me now. I said, Dad, you're not. As long as you fit in my schedule. That's all I care about. If you don't fit my schedule, I will tell you I can't do that. We have to do it this day. I can't get your life-saving pills today because I've got something going on. I got to do it tomorrow. All right. So he told me, that everything was fine. He said the radiation dye that they put in him, he's got to wait, an hour and 15 minutes for it to go around his body. He said it made him feel a little loopy. He did the scan and then came out and he's like, did you get my groceries? I go, well, Dad, that's another thing. I said, where's your phone at? So he looks at his phone, and I said, give me your confirmation number. Where did you buy this stuff? Now, my dad has a Discover card. He puts everything on his Discover card. I guess to build credit, I don't know. He's 77 years old, but he puts everything on his Discover card. Maybe there's some like money back thing I don't know about. So what Discover does, if you have a Discover card out there, it will reject anything new, like an online payment. And then you have to go, yes, this is me. Kind of like if you buy a new phone, which I'm getting ready to get here in the next probably a couple hours. My wife's downstairs doing that now. When you get a new phone, you sign into your Yahoo account or your email address or something like that. And, is this you? And you hit, yes, it's me. So Discover Card, I guess, does that for their clients, the people that have Discover cards. So when he did that, Wal-Mart kicked the order back out. So it didn't get processed. So it's still sitting there in limbo waiting to be paid for. So I said, Dad, let's go home. Let's figure this out. Drive all the way home. Sure enough, yep, kicked it back out. Everything's in this cart, and it says, go to checkout. I'm like, all right, Dad, is there anything else that you need to do? I'm like, okay. And the only reason why I bring this up is because this is going to be my new normal. When my dad says, I don't want to bother you with things. I know you got your own life and everything going on. My idea is I don't want my dad to have to worry about bothering me. So if he just, if we can set this up, Dad, this is all you have to do. Bing, bang, boom, pick out all this stuff, hit, purchase, set up a time. I will go get it every Friday for you. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about getting in your car with your bad knees and your bad legs that you can't bend, you can't move. You can't move at all. Getting in a car and driving 6, 7, 8 miles, if not more than that, to the local grocery store, and it's all taken care of. And then getting, picking out your stuff, going through the checkout, then loading everything into your car and holding on to the little dolly wheelie thing at the same time. It's all taken care of. That's one less thing, Dad, that you have to worry about. All you have to do right now is worry about getting better. I said, once we got everything set up, I said to him, do you feel confident now? Everything's all set up? Because this is going to be the new norm. He goes, I know, because I can't leave my room. And I'm like, Dad, you can't look at it that way. But technically, you can't leave your room. You cannot physically leave the house because you can't drive. You can walk out on the back porch. We have a nice, big, huge back porch that looks over our 22 some odd acres. He can look at the chickens. He can look at the horses. He can do all that stuff. There's nothing stopping him from going outside. It's the going in a car outside somewhere, out and without a chauffeur. So I'm the chauffeur from now on, I guess. Unless there's some kind of Medicare thing where they can physically pick him up. I hope to God a wheelchair is not in the future, because that's going to be another step down into the basement as far as, what's going to happen as far as, is he improving or is he getting worse type deal? I know. It's part of life. I hate to say that. It's part of life. And I never like to use the term, it is what it is, because it is what you make it. I hate that phrase. Oh, it is what it is. No, it's not. It's what you make it, and, use it for yourself. All right. I'm going to take a quick little break. I know I was talking about a television show that I've been watching, and I'll dive into that here in just one sec. So stick around. I'll be right back. My wife and I have been watching Fargo, the television series, for a while now. And I say a while, we saw a, advertisement, season 5 of Fargo's out. And I was like, well, I like the movie. My wife thought the movie was kind of quirky. I forget who the brothers were that did it. Kind of the same. I think it is the same brothers that did the television series. So we watched the first one. She loved it. Television series. Watched the second season. she was like, all right, so how are these two connected? And then third series, we're like, all right, we got it. It's still fun. It's still entertaining. We're in the middle. Like, I think tomorrow we're going to watch the last episode of season 4. And then season 5 is the most current one. She's enjoying it. She's having a great time with it. But in my mind, I'm like going, well, I need to figure out a new series for us to watch. So that's my job. It's something that we can watch together. My wife normally watches like Love Island. She doesn't watch The Bachelor, but she watches the most cheesiest, Housewives of insert, city name here. And she watches those all the time. And the only reason why she watches those is because, her job is so complex that what she does, she might have those, Michael Madsen moments, where she walks out to the car and comes back to the chaos. That she watches the Housewives and stuff and just goes, thank God I'm not part of that group. The turmoil, the bickering, the backstabbiness and all that stuff. She just sits there and goes, God, these people are horrible. It makes her feel better. I am better than those people. That's why she watches those shows. And, I prop her up all night. Babe, I love you too. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. That type of stuff. All the smushy stuff. And by the way, we're going to be married 10 years at the end of March. This is March 1st right now. So, yep, 10 years. March 29th. So thank you. I know. Thank you. But there's one show I saw that they were pushing a lot right before the Super Bowl or right after the Super Bowl. It's Resident Alien. Never heard of it. Didn't see anything about it. Wasn't on my radar. Didn't hear anything about it. I guess this is season 2. And they were pushing a lot of they're doing a lot of promo with it. They're like, oh, this is good. And the lead guy, I don't have time to sit here and look up his name right now. Or do I? No, I don't. He was in, what was it, Dodgeball? I'm the pirate. Arr! That guy. He was also in 28 Days, where he played the gay guy who he was only allowed to have with Sandra Bullock. He played the gay guy. He's like, you're not allowed to have a relationship unless you can have a plant live for a year. I know these are weird analogies. These are just, like I said, I was a film and theater movie major, whatever I said before. And so all these movies kind of stick in my head. Anyways, he's an alien, lands in Colorado, out in the middle of nowhere, one horse town, population, kind of like where we live at in Marshville, 2,500 people. And there's kind of like this weird underbelly. But here's the thing. So I'm watching the show, and the chief, sheriff, whatever he is, he's a black guy. He's like, call me Big Black. And they're like going, no, we're not going to call you Big Black. Nobody calls you Big Black because he's the only black guy in town. Call me Big Black. The town itself is somewhat part of a Native American people. The dentist is this, the whatever shop handler, there's a lot of Native American people in this show. And it didn't really dawn on me until I got into episode 4 or 5 of the first season. I'm like going, you know what? I'm watching this show and I'd never heard anyone chastise one race or the other race for being who they were. And the reason why I bring this up is there's a lot of people out here, and we're just coming out of Black History Month. This is where I'm going with this. A lot of people out there say, I want to watch shows that represent me. I don't see people like me in shows. And I agree with that. I'm not going to watch a show that doesn't have a 6'3", 260-pound, good-looking guy in there. No, I'm tired of watching those rock movies. I'm kidding, but I don't watch movies that way. I watch movies based on the content. I watch movies based on the cinematic, the way it's shot, the storyline. I could care less who the characters are. as long as they fit in the parameters of this piece that we're watching. So I say that because I'm watching this show called A Resident Alien. And everyone in this show is getting along. They're not woke. No one's woke. We need to make sure that we have, 30% white, 30% black, 30% whatever, other and all that stuff. No. But I'm sitting there watching and going, okay, so a lot of these people, the characters in this show, are Native American. And they do talk a little bit about Native American heritage. Oh, this was your great grandmother's, tomahawk or something like, I know that's very stereotypical as I'm beating my own story up here. But everyone in the show, I don't want to say got along because that's not the word I want to use, but everyone in the show was playing their role and playing their part and doing their thing and doing what it was good. So no matter what creed, color, race, religion, whatever, the show could appeal to almost everyone. And the reason why I bring that up is because I can't count actually, how many shows where there's whites working with blacks to achieve a certain goal. And I say blacks like that's a bad thing. White people and black people, or people of color, whether it be black, white, or black, Chinese, Asian, I think I offended a couple of people there. Mexican, Spanish, whatever. There are so many shows out there where they put an emphasis on that character's race, that character's color of their skin. And, there's this thing in movies where they call the black person the, what's the term that they use for it? The wise person, the prophet. If you have a movie, where a lot of white people are in there, there's always that a black person in there that just knows a little bit more and is a little bit wiser than everyone else. And they always play that kind of role. Like, hey, I'm the black person, but I'm a little bit smarter. I've been around here. And they call it, I believe it's called the prophet black role. I could be mistaken like that, but there's a term for that. So when you see movies and TV shows and stuff where they've got all the different kinds of race, they write the script based on those races. As to Resident Alien, they're writing the script based on characters, the actual characters. This person's a man, this person's a female, this is their interaction. This person does this is their job, this is their job. That's it. That appeals, that show, if you take race out of everything, that show should appeal to almost everyone. Now, they talk about aliens and all this other crazy stuff, so you get the loopies in there. But I was just thinking, I said, when's the last time I've seen a show that actually does something like this and not hold, not emphasis on race, color of skin, or anything like that? And I can't. And I was like going, well, what's the problem? Is the reason why we have, I don't want to say segregation, because we have mental segregation. Mental segregation in the way we watch shows because they're written that way. And why isn't this show on the top of the list? Now, it's no Steven Spielberg or anyone like that, or it's a great show. It's a very well written show. I use that term loosely, but still, I just don't understand why. It can be done. I guess that's where I'm going. It can be done. You can do a TV drama and not have to cater to people to make sure that everyone's woke and everyone's represented. That's what I was trying to say about the show. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, guys, I'm going to do one more little segment and then I got to go probably update my phone since I've got the Galaxy S10 and my wife just bought the Galaxy S24. So I'm a little outdated, so I'll be right back. So I did my Michael Madsen walk downstairs, go out of the studio, and I got my coolies in the freezer. That's what I call them, coolies. And it's so cold and rainy outside, I can't tell if the freezer's working or not. You ever had that situation? People live, I was born and raised in Orlando, Florida. So you put beers in the freezer, you got to watch them so they don't explode. But, when you pull them out, you can feel them. They're cold. Here right now, it's rainy. And like I said, it's I think a high of, 46 degrees or something like that. I pull the beer out of the refrigerator or out of the freezer, and I got it in my hand. I'm like going, God, is this still hot? From when I went grocery shopping today, sitting in the parking lot for 20 some odd minutes waiting for my dad. No. I opened it up. Oh, it's nice and cold. And a situation that I got into, and I feel bad because I played dumb, is I told you my dad, he physically cannot move without a whole act of Congress to get him to move around. So he's got this new dolly. It's got 10-inch wheels on it so he can roll around the house and walk around and lean on it and sit on it. You've seen them. Old people got them. And every entrance to our house, because we live in North Carolina, we have a crawl space. Every entrance, every opening to get into the house is 7 steps down or 7 steps up, depending on if you're coming at us or leaving. So the big porch on the back has 7 steps to a deck. So we have a porch, and then 7 steps down, we have like a little sun deck out there. And then it leads into the garage. Before any of this happened, my dad's knees were completely shot before he started, taking painkillers and stuff. He's like, are you going into the garage? Yeah, what do you need? Can you bring because he's got his refrigerator out here. Can you bring me 2 dinners, my jar of pickles, and 1 of my gallons of sweet tea? All right. So I go downstairs and grab it for him and bring him in. So he has, his stuff, his stash in the refrigerator. So he has something to eat and do something that day. And then later on, the day went on, and he goes, Trav? Yeah? Can you go get me a beer or 2? I played dumb. I go, I'm sorry, Dad, what'd you say? And he's yelling at me from his little room there, his little cave. He goes, are you going downstairs or going out to the garage? I go, yeah, why? What do you need? Oh, just, can you bring me? And he made up something that he needed but didn't need. So I said, okay, fine. And I think he caught himself, saying, oh, excuse me. I think he caught himself thinking that, I'm not your beer boy. I'm not the girl on the golf cart that's going to bring you your drinks. I'm not doing that. If you want them bad enough, Dad, you are going to take your happy ass and figure out a way to get down those stairs, go out to the garage, open up your refrigerator, get your beers out, and figure out a way to get them back in the house. I'm sorry. Am I wrong for saying that? Because the whole point of him going to these doctor's appointments and stuff is to get his legs better. And alcohol does not help. Now, I've said this a million times about him. He's a grown man. He can do what he wants. I'm not going to technically go buy drugs for my dad so he can get, whatever. I'm not, I know that's a far stretch. I know it is, but I'm not going to sit there and contribute to his disability. I will go down and get his food and stuff. Now he has done better. And this is a couple of weeks ago this happened. He has done better. He has started to use the air fryer. He has had, chicken thighs, and he boils one of those boil in the bag rice. He's been eating that. He's been doing better. But just that one moment, he caught himself. I don't know if it was, a eye-opening moment that, hey, I'm asking my son to go get some alcohol from me from downstairs because I can't go get it. And, that's where you kind of do I have a problem? Does he have a problem? He doesn't have a problem. He drinks maybe 2, maybe 3 in a whole entire day. Not like me. I'll drink 23 in a whole entire day. And studies have shown that I have done that. Now, I used to work at when I first moved to Charlotte, when we first moved to Charlotte, I was looking for a job. The podcast and everything was doing well, but because of the transfer location, I didn't have the contacts and everything that I had before, so I lost a little bit of like sponsorship. Being from Orlando, it's easy for me to go to a Tijuana Flats and show up and do a live event. It's easy for me to show up at, Tom's piercing and tattoo parlor to do a live event. Now that we're out here in Marshville, population 2,500 people, it's hard for me to do like live events. So the money kind of dwindled a little bit. So I kind of had to make ends meet. And I'm talking, this is years ago. I'd say years ago. This is probably coming up on 5-6 years ago. I was doing this show and still working a full-time job. Not this show, because this show's only a year old. It'll be 1 year old. But the other shows that I have, if you look over, if you're watching this on YouTube, the other shows that I have behind me, those are still active and still going on full strength. But I worked with this young guy. He was probably 5'6", 5'7", bodybuilder guy, young guy, could, that age, 25, 26, 27 years old, could stay out all night, drinking all night long, and then show up at work at, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I worked with him for probably 3 years before he left and went on to do something else. But in the process, I've had him over my house. We've had dinner together. He's helped me do some stuff here on the property. I wouldn't call him a best friend or a good friend. I call him a friend. He's called me for questions on stuff. Hey man, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And then I really haven't called him on anything, just to, say, actually, I haven't called him on anything at all. Now that I think about it, but he's always asked me, question about relationships. He's like, you seem like a smart guy. And I go, oh man, do I have you fooled? But he used to come in to work and I could tell he was hungover. And he ended up, he had a daughter out of wedlock. He accidentally got this girl pregnant or purposely got her pregnant. I don't know what the case was. And then started dating a girl who was about his same age, same, activities and stuff like that. A little bit smarter, got her shit together, but he's still, drinking and being a frat bro with a daughter who's, 4 coming up on 5 years old. He's trying to get custody of her. So long story short on their relationship, he got custody of her. They got married, but his still party lifestyle was happening. And he's got a real good job and he's constantly working out. And, he's one of those workout guys that like, oh, I'm selling supplements. And then, can I buy your supplements? Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. And then the next day, I'm selling supplements. Oh, let me get some. Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. And the reason why I bring this up is because he kind of penned a letter, an open letter. And he's not when you talk to him like one-on-one, he's not like a smart guy, but he could get a lot of his ideas and words on paper very well. And he wrote this letter, which I thought was very, very inspirational. Not to me. It doesn't apply to me. But I figured I'd read this for anyone out there that's dealing with certain issues as far as, is your what you got going on more important than family or the lifestyle or the person that you want to be. So give me 1 second. I'll read this to you. And just to help someone out there, if it helps one person, great. Give me 1 second while I set all this up. Now, bear with me because I do have dyslexia. So you're going to hear me fumble over a couple of words and stuff just because that's the nature of my brain will flip a lot of stuff around. So here we go. The letter starts out, says, I was hesitant to share the news about my life, but the reflection of my choices have shown me what communication and honesty with myself can truly do to those around me. Even if one person takes a minute, hopefully I entertained the thought of change. As some of you already may know, the last couple years I have tried and failed slowing down or quitting bad habits. Many of us have that quote-unquote thing that escapes the stresses, anxiety, depression, pain, heartbreak, etc. Mine was alcohol. It's being an ongoing issue in my life in some type of way, literally forever. I just couldn't shake it off. January 2023, I did what most people in the beginning of the year said, new year, new me, and quit drinking. This time, my goal was to quit drinking until our family has grown. It's personal, it's a strong goal, and I've done well in the past. We got this. Nope. Unfortunately, at the end of February 2023, I relapsed. What I think went wrong, like many others who try to move past these issues, is not always about the substance or the quote-unquote thing used to escape, but more about the undeniable decision that you have to make within yourself for change. As of now, I am 1 year sober from alcohol with absolutely zero regrets or urges to ever drink again. Our family grew with the birth of our baby girl, Nora. Was that process easy? No. Did we have to go through more than many for this blessing? Yes. Did I fight my demons during this hard time? Yes. I can honestly say, however, that if I was still abusing alcohol or had it in my life, there is no possible way I would have handled this the way I did as a father, husband, or man. For this, I felt what proud was for myself and maybe ever. What's changed the most during this process is the desire and excitement to become the best version of myself. The benefits this decision has created on a personal, financial, and professional level is unmatched. The last thing I want to do is share for now from this process is the staggering number of people that have listened or followed my journey thus far and decided they also will take a change in their life for the better. I am no professional, nor am I looking for accolades, but the feeling of someone stopping me and saying, John, what you have admitted about your sobriety has helped me with my decisions about substance abuse. Is more superior than going out and having a beer. Continue to grow, continue to better yourselves, love others, eliminate negativities out of your life, and look to become the healthiest and best version of yourself. John. Now, I read you that, and I hope that helps someone out there. I understand exactly what he's saying. Some people think they have it under control. Some people don't know where to start. So maybe that letter from John might inspire you. Again, I've said this a million times. You're an adult. You can make decisions for yourself. On that note, guys, I'm going to wrap up the show. Okay? See you. Bye. I know I got a little choked up saying that. Bye.